debaters. Before we start our debate today, this is a gentle reminder. Please mute your microphone when you're not presenting. Thank you. Okay, welcome to. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell the live thing. Welcome to Tan Sri Datuk Seri Dr. Abdul Rahman Arshad Challenge Trophy English Language Debate Competition for the year of 2022. The motion for today is this House believes that not this one. Okay, this House would require partners to pay their husband or wife for household chores. For the government team, we have speakers from PADANG TERAP, no, government is from TERAP. Okay, I'm sorry everyone. Okay, acting as the government team for this debate is the team from KUBANG PASU, with Ms. Nur Ariana as the first speaker, Ms. Nurul Imtiaz as the second speaker, and Mr. Muhammad Amar as the third speaker. The reply speech will be done by Ms. Nurul Imtiaz. While acting as the opposition team for this debate is the team from Padang Terap, with the first speaker, Ms. Nur Anis Shafia, second speaker, Ms. Nur Fariza, and the third speaker, Ms. Nur Ain Najibah. The reply speech will be delivered by Ms. Nur Anis Shafia. There are 3 educators who will educate this competition. They are Ms. Mildred Tan as the chief judge. She will be helped by Madam Nur Hashima, and last but not least, Mr. Tan Yuet Zhao. Now, I would like to read out some of the rules for this debate. For the substantive speech, each debater is given 8 minutes to deliver his or her speech. The timekeeper will ring the bell once after the first minute to show that point of information can be delivered. The timekeeper will then ring the bell once again at the end of the 7 minutes to show that the time for POI is over. At the end of the 8 minutes, the bell will be rung twice to indicate that the time allocated is over. A maximum time of 3 minutes will be given to both teams to prepare for the reply speech. The timekeeper will ring the bell once to show the start of the preparation, and the bell will be rung twice after 3 minutes to show that the time to prepare for the reply speech has ended. For reply speech, the timekeeper will ring the bell once at the third minute to signal that the debater has 1 minute left. At the end of the fourth minute, the bell will be rung twice to signal the end of the debate. Now we shall begin our debate today. To open up the case from the government team, please welcome the first speaker of the government team, Ms. Nur Ariana.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to the respectable speaker, honorable adjudicators, cautious timekeeper, members of the opposition side, my beloved government team, and most importantly, members of the floor. The topic of our debate today is this house would require partners to pay their husbands or wife for household chores. We, the government side, strongly agree with this motion simply because it shows mutual respect and understanding between one another. I, as the Prime Minister, will be giving you the definition of today's motion, as well as stating my argument under the key phrase equality, then followed by Imtiaz, as the second minister, will be giving 2 more points under the key phrase appreciation and motivation. And also Amar, as the third minister, will be rebutting the opposition's argument. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the government side defines would meaning use as the past from form of will when report, require meaning officially demand or order, pay meaning giving a reward, whether it will be in cash or any other items for a task, husband meaning a man that a woman is married to, wives meaning the woman to whom a man is married to, household meaning all the people who live in one house and the work, money, organization, etc. that is needed to look after them. Chores meaning a job that is not interesting but that you must do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about the status quo nowadays. Back then, women are expected to not work and only stay at home to do house chores, while men are given responsibilities to go out and work. But looking at the situation now, people are much open and aware about men and women's equality, which means that both men and women are given the rights to choose. Men don't have the burden of society's perspective to go to work and support the family, while on the other hand, women nowadays are not expected to only stay at home doing house chores, but are also given the choice to have a career and earn their income independently. Some of us may not know how hard it is to be able to do house chores and manage the cleanliness of the house. Example of household chores are sweeping the house, picking and sending children to school, doing the laundry, and even cooking. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to my first point under the key phrase equality. In the world that we're living in today is when men and women treat each other equally. Where do you think this equality treatment should start from, other than household? Well, we must first start from household. If the husband is doing much more work than the wife, or the wife is doing much more work than the husband, so where does this equality apply?
Please.
Yes.
Don't you think that when the partner actually pays their husband or wife for household chores, that it's just going to be that one specific partner that always gets paid and always does the house chores? So in fact, it doesn't really lead to equality.
It is an equality because back then, when, as an example, when women do house chores, they are not paid or they are not giving a reward. So now we are saying that by giving a reward or paying the significant other that does the house chores, it actually makes them feel equal and feel appreciated. Moving on. Since household chores is definitely not easy, of course, one of the partners, either men or women, should pay their partner who does the household chores. This is as a way to make them feel that they are not discriminated and to make sure that they are not feeling underappreciated, to avoid arguments to pop up regarding household chores. This also prevents children from having a stereotypical thinking about how only moms should do the house chores and how about the fathers should always work to support the family. Also, by paying, we're not saying it should only be done by giving them money or pay salary, but we're also trying to say that there are tons and tons of other way to give reward to their significant other. An example of these are buying them flowers, giving them gifts, buying takeout food rather than having the significant other to cook, or even rewarding them by bringing them to a spa. You can do this monthly rather than waiting for a year to celebrate birthdays and an anniversary to make your significant other feel appreciated. Plus, this method, which is rewarding their partners, will defeat the narrow mentality because now some men are also capable and they prefer to do household chores, and women are now capable in being independent in their career and finding their own income. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I end my speech, are there any other POIs? With that, in conclusion, we, the government team, strongly agree with this motion. Aku dah cakap ni dah. In conclusion, we, the government team, strongly agree with this motion simply because it shows mutual respect and understanding between one another. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to the first speaker of the government team. Then to start the case from the opposition team, please welcome the first speaker of the opposition team, Ms. Anshafia.
All right, am I audible? Okay. A very good day I bid to the speakers and members of the floor. The motion for today is this house would require partners to pay their husbands or wife for a household chores. Members of the house, before I proceed with our team's first agreement, I would like to refute the first point of the government team, which is when they said that both men and women have to be equal, where women have their own careers and etc. When you said that there need to be an equality in treating each other, you should know. But without money, we can also the partners also can complete the household or make the household chores more clearly and calmly without there is any agreement happen between them, and also others problems that will lead to marriage problems, because sometimes husband and also wife will agree that who should done the household chores right now. So now, the meanings of the marriage itself already shows us that every partners love each other and always be there for each other in every situation. We need to understand that the marriage partner should always help each other in every aspect, including the money. They need to know how to tolerate and not to be too selfish And then they need to know how to manage their family without any problems. It surely will lead to the harmonious marriage. So on our side also, we believe that this house would not require partners to pay their husbands or even wives for household chores, as it discourages proper, healthy communications in their marriage. This is because if we look properly, husband and also wife are the main part of the marriage. If the money issue can cause them to argue and also being insatisfied with each other and with the decision they have made, what things are going to be happen? These issues are actually making them lead to a divorce problems and also any other problems that makes them to be separated, which can be bad for their future. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let me firstly start with our very first point, which is that it should be
POI.
their shared responsibility. Yes?
Do you think if they do chores, it will cause them becoming more stressed, and would it be paying them would be a better solution for it?
Like I've just mentioned, in every marriage, they should work together and always do all the household together, so that the household can be done more calmly and clearly. So there is no stress with that. All right. So as we all know, when we heard the word marriage, we know that we need to love each other and also help each other. Just bear in mind that the husband and wife need to work each other, because it's a part of the marriage. You need to think, what point of the marriage if the partner didn't work together? So in order to make their marriage long lasting, more forever, the partner itself have to work together and contribute anything to ease the burden of their wives or even husbands. You need to understand why the partners need to pay the husband or even wives just for the household chores. If you said that it actually plays an important role in encouraging the partner itself to do the chores, you are actually totally wrong. Plus, actually, money can also leads to other problem if the husband and also wife thinks that is the best solution right now, right that moment for their daily household chores. When I also mentioned that the household chores should be their shared responsibility, it will also lead to a healthy communication where both of the partners will agree with the decisions they have made. Nowadays, we've also heard that there are a lot of marriage problems occurs because of the partners itself being selfish and don't want to contribute of their fair shares of the responsibility. In this modern era, doing chores is not a big deal for every partner itself, because nowadays there are a lot of technology invented to make the work become more faster. For example, Roomba, which is a robot vacuum, and the vacuum itself being invented to make sure that every partner can do the housework more fastly. Next, plus the housework also involve a cooking thing, and we also have a toaster, microwave, air fryer, a waffle maker, and even a coffee maker. If this motion was brought up in the 1920s and 1940s, then maybe this motion could be passed. But currently, we see this is an irresponsibility on that partner's part. Taking care of your home and should be seen as an easy task. This is how we eliminate the double standard on only having women do the household chores. Now, a lot of women even view men as lazy if they don't have help around with the house. If they see a big turn off and sometimes even a red flag. This is the house where the two partners live together, eat together, and even etc. and etc. If this is a shared house, this should be a shared responsibility. Thus, on the opposition side, we believe that in the household chores shouldn't be plate service, but it should be their shared responsibility. Thus, I urge the House to abolish this motion, as this House would not require partners to pay their husbands or wife for household chores, as it discourages healthy communications in the marriage. With that, we've never been proud to propose.
Thank you to the first speaker of the opposition team. To continue our debate today, I would like to invite the second speaker of the government team, Ms. Nurul Imtiaz.
Can you hear me? Okay. Marriage is a relationship where both partners need to provide for each other. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to the respected speaker, cautious timekeeper, honorable educators, members of the opposition team and members of the floor. The motion of our debate today is this house would require partners to pay their husbands or wives for household chores. We, the government team, strongly agree with this motion simply because it shows mutual respect and understanding between one another. I, as a second minister, has been given the duty to rebut the opposition leader's argument, as well as to state two arguments under the key phrase appreciation and motivation. I would now like to move on to rebutting the opposition leader's argument. She stated how husbands and also wives are the main part of marriage. And if money is an issue in their marriage, it can make their marriage worse. Well, I'd like to give you a status quo. Recently, groceries like chicken and oil are rising in price. So would this not impact one's relationship when money is tearing them apart? They still need their daily necessities. And about them talking about partners should do household chores together and work together, ease the burdens of their partners, and how household chores should be done out of respect for the relationship and responsibility. Well, even if it is their responsibility, they should be loved. For example, in COVID-19 era, the divorce case has ultimately reduced from 56% to 27% has risen. Not only that, we can see it clearly when the celebs itself are divorcing. For example, the Kim Kardashian case, where both partners are celebrities, which is Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. They had a mutual understanding of some point, but they couldn't understand that they also needed to be appreciated. So ultimately concluded with them getting a divorce. And how even if they're sincere to do their household chores, but we should appreciate them. Based on happyfamily.com sites, approximately 67% of women feel happy and delighted when they are appreciated. Apart from that, by appreciating and
Your
loving them,
please.
it will foster. Can I finish first? It will foster the relationship to be more stronger, and we can avoid the divorce rates. May I know your POI?
How can you relate Kim Kardashian cases into this motion, as we are talking about household chores where basically they have their maids to do all the household chores?
I'm talking about your point about responsibility. I'm talking about both of them need to have responsibility in their relationship for it to work out. Have I answered your POI? Thank you. I would like to move on to my first argument under the key phrase appreciation. I would now like for you to imagine you come home from a hard living 9-hour work job to see the house neat and clean. Now tell me, would you not feel appreciative towards your partner? Now let's go back to when the COVID-19 outbreak first spread widely throughout Malaysia. The outbreak caused a world pandemic where 120 countries have closed most workplaces, impacting almost 1 billion employees across the world that have experienced closures of theirs. This meant that both partners, if married, would be in the same household. Well, the main factor for this is because partners weren't being appreciative enough, the cause of the 37% in divorce rates. I'll give you an example of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's divorce case. It is an abuse case, but we can clearly see how unappreciative Amber Heard was towards Johnny Depp.
POI, please.
Yes, thank you.
Regarding the domestic abuse case of Johnny
Yes.
Depp and Amber Heard, it was about domestic abuse. It wasn't about if they were doing household chores or not. Thank you.
I'm talking about Amber Heard not being appreciative enough towards Johnny Depp, which caused domestic abuse. You understand me? Moving on, a lot of partners, only when their anniversary comes up, are willing to buy and give stuff to their partners. Instead of doing it once or twice a year, why can't we do it regularly? Which shows when you pay your partner for doing household chores, they feel acknowledged, appreciated, and understood. Household chores aren't just taking care of children, washing the dishes, and taking care of their garden. It also includes farm work and taking care of their in-laws. Farm work isn't something that takes 1 or 2 hours to handle. It takes more than 6 hours. So why wouldn't you pay your partner for the hard work that they put in as well as their precious time? Like the saying goes, time is money. People out there are employed working the same amount of time and effort, getting monthly or daily wages. So I ask this question again. Why shouldn't we pay our partners what they deserve? As well as my example on their partners taking care of their in-laws,
Your eye, please.
your partner no, thank you. I've already taken 2 PI. Moving on. Your partner is taking care of your parents. Imagine the pressure they are put under to only be replied with thank you. They're taking care of your parents' hygiene, their sanity, their entertainment, and their environment. I haven't even mentioned the fact that when both partners show appreciation to one another, in this instance, paying their husbands, wives, or wives for household chores, it gives a good example on how children should treat their future partners with respect. This can also help them understand how important it is to show acknowledgement and appreciation towards their future partners. Moving on to my second argument under the key phrase motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Boyarchi is one of the examples I will be giving. Even though he has no limbs, he is still happy and satisfied of himself. Apart from them, he feels motivated when he got married with his wife. He also had twin daughters with no disability. This clearly shows that the partner, whether it is husband or wife, they feel motivated when they do their chores. Nick Boyarchi always helps his wife to play and joke with her, while his wife always supports him and do household chores. These make them equal and hanky-panky fights can be avoided. Apart from that, this motivation can increase the productivity by increasing
Your eye,
the
please.
no thank you, I've already taken 2 PI. By increasing the productivity, many problems can be overcome. In addition, productivity will ensure the inheritance and the generation will not be saved. Nowadays, many people feel that having babies are burdened. These can actually inject happiness among our nuclear family. I would now, from all the examples I've shown you, we can clearly see how important it is to pay our husband or wife for the household chores they are doing. I would now like to restate the motion of our today's debate, which is this house would require partners to pay their husbands or wives for household chores. And we, the government team, strongly agree with this motion simply because it shows mutual respect and understanding between one another. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the debate will continue with a speech from the second speaker of the opposition team. Please welcome Nur Fariza.
Hello, testing mic, can you hear me? Okay. A very good day, I to the speaker, dear opponents, and members of the House. The motion for today is this House would require partners to pay their husband or wife for household chores. We, as the opposition team, strongly and totally disagree with this motion, as we believe that it discourages proper healthy communication in the marriage. As the second speaker of the opposition team, before I proceed with our team's second and third arguments, I would like to refute their second and third points of the government team. Their second point is about appreciation. They mentioned that by paying their partners, it shows appreciation. But I ask you, dear government, can money and pretty items can really solve everything? Their third point is about motivation. But our stance for this is, it's like a manipulating trick to their partners as they are trying to escape their shared responsibility, as what my first speaker has mentioned. And I will be describing this in my script later more. Moving on to our second argument to support our case now, which is involving money in relationships leads to problem. The reason why we are saying this is because when someone is giving money to their partner, they will surely have an argument come up. For example, not enough money for them or etc. Imagine how worse it could be if the argument started just because of the small
Your
amount of
act-
money. Like we have mentioned before, household chores should be their shared responsibility. Yes, please.
Why would you paying your partner money for them doing household chores start arguments when not paying them would actually start more arguments? I don't understand
Actually,
your
I've
argument.
mentioned that a small amount of money sometimes could lead to argument. I've mentioned that just now. Okay. This case will be worse as in today's society. A man tend to hesitate and do on doing chores. They'll just likely to be like, "Oh, can you do it for me? I will pay for you later." Ladies and gentlemen, if we pass the motion, can you imagine how hurt it will be to our society? Additionally, when they are in their marriage life, they should be supporting each other and helping doing the chores together. You might say that one of them is busy to do work and provide necessity to the family. But the thing is, it's how a healthy relationships work. They should not just avoid a responsibility by just saying that they are work to provide them a good life. No matter how busy you are, you still need to work to know that doing house chore is much more busier and has unlimited works to do. How are you expecting that you could pay these unlimited works? Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, these household chores is done by your lovely partner. How come you be so cruel to pay your loved ones so that they could do all the house chores that you guys should work on it together? Sadly to say, it could be such a manipulating towards their partner if they ask them to do their housework chores with a payment. As I keep on mentioning, it's just shared responsibility. In your eyes, by giving money to your partner as compensation for their hard work, what makes them any different than a maid? Won't it feel extremely humiliating to have your partner show their appreciation for you by only giving your money? Financial problems adds to a large percentage of why divorces happen. Adding money into that equation will only worsen the family institutions. We don't see the necessity or requirement to pay their parents, to pay their partners. It will only lead to problems, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, our third point for today is as it shows act of service could be to the partner's love language without the need to provide money for the household chores to be accomplished. This will likely promote a healthy marriage in our society whereby the partners or also called partners should show their children on how to treat other people with pure love and honesty without depending on people's giving. Thus, it shows unconditional love for the child to do things without expecting something in return. As you can see, Asian culture already normalized this kind of action as their love language. For example, the mother would most likely to be the one that persuade their child by serving the child's favorite food whenever they tend to not purposely hurting the child's feeling. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, as the parents are the children's role model, they will learn how to express love by just not saying the word "I love you" itself. It could be act of service that shown by their parents, not love by paying their partner for their act of service. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, your hard work and love for your partners can't be paid in monetary value as it what real love should be. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the August House, that is why we, as the opposition side, urge the House to abolish this motion as we believe that it discourages proper healthy communication in the marriage. Before I end my speech, do you guys have any POI? Well, I guess no. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. The second speaker of the opposition. The debate will continue with the third speaker of the government team, Mr. Muhammad Amar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a good day I beg to the respected speaker, cautious timekeeper, respected authenticators, members of the opposition team and my beloved government team and last but not least the members of the floor. So today, ladies and gentlemen, in the August Hall, we'll bring forward the issue this house would require partners to pay their husband or wife for household chores. And we, the government team, agree with the statement simply because of it shows mutual respect and understanding towards one another. And my job today is will be rebutting the arguments that were given by the opposition side. First of all, I want to address that the example of act of service is a part of paying. And like my prime minister said, giving a reward or any other stuff is equal to pay in her definition. I also want to rebut about her facts regarding the sincerity. Even if they're sincere to do their household chores, but we should appreciate them based on like my example that were given by my second speaker regarding the happy family. By paying our partners with money to do chores, they will they they can do the chores and they will feel very appreciated. And as you guys can see, if we don't do wait, they will feel very unappreciated because their their hard work by doing the chores were underappreciated. By giving this kind of money and appreciation, we can see that the housewife will be more happy because they see that the husband or even the wife show effort that they give a lot of care and attention to them. And what was your POI?
You keep on mentioning that to give them appreciation, but why can't you give that appreciation by doing responsibility together?
Well, about the responsibility together, you said just only in one part. You said that only the husband need to pay for the wife to the household, but we don't just want to talk about the husband. Both of them need to pay together since both of them work, and since they work, they have a lot of money, and that's why the reason they should pay together. And there wouldn't be any effect towards their relationship if they do this kind of thing if they pay to each other. Now, moving on, they say about money and items can really help with building relationship. I disagree with that, but my example that were given by the second speaker, they said about during the anniversary or even birthday, they give a lot of present and a lot of money to the wife or even the husband, and we can see that it really affect them and it really make them really happy. And as a burden of proof, we can relate to this. If we do this kind of thing every day, the husband or even the wife will be very appreciated. And other than that, you said about by giving money, it will be manipulating each other. I disagree with statements since if we pay each other with the money that we have from our work, from our work that have been given by the government, there will be any problem with our relationship, and there would there would be any problem with manipulating with each other. Yeah, what's your POI?
You mentioned that could give presents for every day, but don't you think that it will be a routine and there will be no more special towards that someone? And when it doesn't happen, one day, don't you think that might be an issue between those partners?
Well, we could say that we won't give it every day, but we can say that they can give the money monthly and even weekly. And moving on, if we give the money, the housewife can do the work more better because for as an example, if the housewife or even the husband need to take the children, they need to use their car to get the children, and it costs a lot of money to buy those petrol. By the husband or wife give those money to them,
POI, please.
they can money on it and even use it for their children, and this show that they can create a happy family if they share together their money. Yeah, what's your POI?
is it most marriages start off with sharing the money? And plus, is giving money for you to buy petrol a reward? Thank you.
It's not a reward, but if we say, but if we return back to the motion, it say about require partners to pay their husband for their household chores. It doesn't mean that we want to pay them just because it's a reward. We want to pay them for the benefit for the whole family. Like the example I said, by using for the petrol and stuff like that. And you guys also said that they can. You guys also say that um, guys are tend to be lazy and they don't care about doing house chores. I disagree with this statement because it is just a part of perspective that people usually do these days. And as a matter of fact, not there are already an equality towards doing the house chore and stuff like that. So I don't see that men are being lazy doing the house chores. And other than that, people like to stereotype of guy forcing their wife to do the house chore, to do the house chores. And I don't understand why the guys, what the guys do to you guys. As we can see, like I said before, the co-status today, people are now are very equal, and people are now very equal, and they can do things together now. They can trust with each other, and they don't need to do, and they don't need to force the other partners to do this kind of things. And other than that, about the happy family that been talked about from my second speaker, um, even they fe- even they feel it's their responsibility, we have to feel, even if they feel it's their responsibility, we have to value them based on a happy family. This kind of happy family, by giving money, it can create a great example and influence to their children to become a better person. And a study show that children with divorced parents will be likely divorced in the future. And meanwhile, if the children are with a normal family, they would be divorced in the future. While for parents who mistreated for parents who mistreated their children, they will affect their children in the future to become abusive in the future. That's why by paying other people, by paying other husband or even wife, it can show appreciation to them, and and it can show appreciation to them, and it can create a better and a happy family. So before I end my argument, I would like to restate the motion again. This how would require partners to pay their husband or wife for household chores, and with the government they agree with this statement today simply because it shows mutual respect, understanding towards one another. And with that, I beg to propose. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable educators, this is the third speaker of the opposition team, Ms. Nur Najibah.
Am I audible? Okay. A very good day I bid to the speaker, our worthy opponents, and members of the House. The motion for today is this House would require partners to pay their husbands or wife for household chores. We, the opposition team, strongly disagree with today's motion, and we strongly believe that this House should not require partners to pay for their husband or wife's household chores, as it discourages proper healthy communication in the marriage. First of all, I would just like to state that their point, especially their third point, which is that it gives you motivation, it has to do with a lot of the basis for marriage, which what I mean by that is that you basically they mentioned a lot about famous people saying that their marriages didn't work or did work because of appreciation, motivation, and also the equality. However, these are famous people. We're talking mostly about the other families, not just famous people. And in fact, famous people have the prevalence of using maids. They don't do the household chores by themselves. So all of the points that they come up with, especially about the Amber Heard case, is completely irrelevant. So to start off, I would like to just point out that the Ministry of Women and Family in Malaysia put out a campaign saying that in 2020, during the start of lockdown, saying that women or housewives should dress up prettily for their husbands to decrease decrease the chance of them getting domestically abused. I ask you, is that equal? Because that is currently what is actually happening in current society. And their first point, which deals with equality, that women are not expected to do house chores anymore. But the thing is, the double standards and the fact that the stereotypes that have been put down generations are still prevalent in today's society. As much as you would like to believe that women are not expected to do house chores anymore, they are. And also, currently, even especially in Southeast Asia or just Asian countries to begin with, men are hesitant to do household chores. Gender stereotypes still exist, especially in cultures such as Asian culture and Southeast Asia. Also, they mentioned that it breaks the stereotype instead of thinking moms should be the only ones to clean the house. However, this is assuming that this is them thinking that money or pretty items or shiny things can solve all problems, when in fact, no. When you have a mutual understanding, that their case line is having mutual respect and understanding, essentially it means that one partner is usually expected to do the household chores a lot more, especially because they're expected to do that. What if, first of all, what if the value that they give, whatever money, whatever reward they give, is seen as too small for the partner that did all of the work? For their case line, again, it shows mutual respect. But is it really respectful to throw money or pretty little items in front of your partner's face every time that you don't want to do the chores? This is simply disrespectful, and it also shows that it's not really a mutual respect or understanding. In fact, it still becomes dependency. It still becomes that the other partner, that whatever the husband or the wife, still have to be the ones to do the work because they're the ones that usually do it. Also, for their second point, which is that it shows appreciation. And they mentioned about the Amber Heard case. They mentioned how lack of appreciation leads to domestic abuse. In fact, this is so out of the motion because domestic abuse happens because the person is an abuser. It doesn't happen because you decided to do the household chores and the other person didn't, or the fact that they didn't appreciate your hard work. No, it happens because that person is an abuser. And also, again, they are famous people, even Amber Heard and Johnny Depp do not have children together, which means that they don't really have household chores that they do together. Their third point, which is about motivation, they mentioned even somewhere along the lines of having children can lead to happiness in marriage. Doesn't this in fact show the basis of marriage? They're not really talking in the actual scope of the motion, which is that it's mostly involving household chores. But what I'm assuming is that what they meant is that when you pay your husband or wife to do household chores, it gives them motivation. But in fact, in our third point, we mentioned that if you do so, acts of service can be seen as a love language. However, when you put acts of service and you pay it with money or with rewards, it teaches your children that they should only show respect and appreciation to their future partners with money. This makes it extremely harmful because it just shows that you don't have to actually show your love. You just have to give money. This is exactly why we should not have partners to pay their husbands and household and wife for their household chores. Yes, go ahead.
But do you think by giving a reward, we're not saying only money, a reward, as if the examples that I mentioned earlier, would really make them bond together and make them feel closer to each other.
The thing is, acts of service, which I have already said in our third point, acts of service is a love language. Some people don't really say I love you or words of affirmation as their love language. In fact, it's they use acts of service like doing household chores, cooking food as a love language. But when you reward these acts of service by just simply giving them money or simply giving them rewards, it just makes it seem like the only way that you can satisfy them is by giving them money. In fact, again, this also teaches your children to become gold diggers. Sure.
But you said earlier that house chores are not easy. So doesn't it mean by appreciating them for doing these hard chores, like it's like giving them more more encouragement for them to be able to do these?
Okay. If you realize that what your partner is doing, the chores that they're doing is difficult, then why don't you help them? Thank you. Anyway, moving on to sum up, I would like to just sum up our points, which is that our first point, which is that it should not be a paid service. It should be their shared responsibility. For example, existing kitchenware technology make your life easier. We have toasters, we have Roombas, we have vacuums. Why aren't you the ones to literally just put clothes into the washing machine to help out your wife or your husband? It's such a simple job. And also, showing your respect to your partner by simply giving them money, by only giving them reward without realizing their sincerity, this is exactly what leads to divorces. Two, our second point, which is that involving money in relationship leads to problems. The financial problems lead to a lot of divorces. And when you involve money into small acts of service that mean a lot, but also it just shows that you don't respect their sincerity. And three, acts of service can be a love language. It teaches our children that they can show their love for their partners by doing other things other than just giving them money. Thus, we urge this House to not pass this motion as it discourages proper healthy communication in the marriage. Thank you.
Thank you to the third speaker of the opposition team. We have heard the argument from both teams, and now the debaters are given 3 minutes to prepare the reply speech. Now, to wrap up our debate today, is the reply speech from the opposition team, which will be delivered by Ms. Anishafia.
Hello, am I audible? So, so a very good day I bid to the speaker, my worthy opponents and members of the House. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the agreements put forward by us as well as by the government. In this reply speech, let us reflect on the strength of our agreements and the flimsy agreements by the government. To start off, our case from the start has been this House would not require partners to pay their husbands or wife for household chores, as it discourages healthy communication. The biggest disagreement we had of today's debate is when you said that a household chores is a part of their appreciations. The third speaker mentioned clearly that the partners could give the appreciations every day. The thing is, when you give presents every day, will it not be a present anymore? It will be a routine. Imagine one day you don't receive the present from your partners as the appreciations. Won't it raise an issue? So now the government side has also told you that that it will, by the doing this, they get motivated. You should know that when their partners or whether the husbands or wife, this actually makes them treat like a maid. Even your maid, you pay for their salary, but it still gives the appreciations, things to make them get motivated to do works. In fact, your partners actually being used, and the other partners at making is actually taking advantage on you to skip their house break. Now, let me highlight that the government side has completely dismissed our point, such as the first, which is it is part of the shared responsibility. Like I mentioned, like before this, there is a various item, like kitchenware technology, that we can use to make our household chores can be done more fastly and doesn't require too much energy to use. Why don't they just work together and just do things such as cooking and cleaning house together? Household chores is a part of their responsibility in order to make sure their marriage more harmony without any problem. The second point, which is involving money and relationship, can lead to a problem. As my second speaker had already mentioned, so by giving the money for the household chores to their partners can cause an argument which may happen, and because they might complain about the money that is not enough or worthy as their work they have done. And you sure that the partner will satisfy with the amount of the money they have received? So we should not normalize this, as it will surely lead to an agreement. And also the third point is act of service can be love language. Love is just not about the money. In a marriage, we can show our love in many ways. Money can replace your love. You can help each other, and that actions already shown how much you love your partner, and it leads to healthy marriage. So to pass this motion is unreasonable. In our world, we ensure that this household chores should be done together. So that it can make our marriage become more harmony and thus increase the feeling of love towards each other. Thus, we strongly believe that this house would not require partners to pay their husband or even wives for household chores, as it discourages healthy communications in the marriage. With that, I end my speech.
Thank you to the opposition team. And last but not the least, here is the reply speech from the government team, which will be given by Ms. Nurul Imtiaz.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I bid to everyone as we meet again in the reply speech arena. Here I am going to show you how weak the points given by the opposition, as well as reinforcing my own team's points as government to show why we will claim victory at the end of this debate. I will first show to you how weak the arguments put forth by the opposition team are. They stated at first their first argument, stating how husbands and also wives are the main part of marriage, and if money is an issue in their marriage, it can make their marriage worse. Well, I would like to state how this isn't a problem. this would impact the relationship since money is a main factor in relationships nowadays because of the rise of groceries all around the country. They still need their daily necessities. Moving on to their next argument, they stated how manipulating their partners into doing all the chores when they should do it together. Well, I would like to say this is a weak argument since because of this, they have to come to an agreement. If you're saying that they should do it together, do you think back then men and women do house chores together? No. Back then, only women were expected to do chores, plus for free. We, the government side, are proposing that we should change this mentality by giving the partners who do the household chores some sort of payment, not just in the form of money, but can be defined as acts of service, which will be further explained as other stuff such as cooking their favorite meal, their partner's favorite meal, and also ranging from that to designer bags. Their third argument stated how mothers would prepare their child's favorite food when the child is sad, and how real love can't be measured by money, and about acts of service. Well, this is such a weak argument because I think the opposition team wasn't listening clearly when my prime minister was talking. My prime minister defined pay as giving a reward, whether it would be in cash or any other items for a task. We are saying that acts of service are included in paying your partner for doing household chores, whether it be from cooking your partner's favorite meal to buying designer bags. The opposition team is unknowingly supporting the government side. Now, I would like to reinforce the government team's arguments, which is the first one, equality. This point is strong because it shows that equality starts from the household. If one partner is doing all these chores more than the other partner, where is the equality that we as society sought for? That is why when you require partners who pay their husbands or wives for household chores, discrimination can be avoided and the other partners feel appreciated because their loved one are acknowledging their efforts and hard work. Not only this strengthens the bond between wives and husbands, but also shows they mutually respect each other as equals. Next, our point about appreciation shows that when partners pay their partners for doing household chores, it makes their husband or wife feel appreciated, acknowledged, and understood. Now tell me, you wouldn't feel appreciative towards your partner after all their hard work into contributing their time towards house chores. This can easily be shown with paying your partners not only in the form of money, but also through gifts, cooking their favorite food, or on taking them on a trip once in a while. Our team's third argument is under the key phrase motivation. This is an impenetrable argument since when paying their husbands or wives for household chores increases the motivation for one, as well as productivity in a household. After their hard work of doing household chores, they will feel more motivated when being appreciated by their significant other. Does this not make their relationship thrive even more? This shows why paying partners when doing the household chores should be required. We can clearly see from all the examples I've shared about our government team's argument that we, the government team, are winning this vaccine war. Thank you.
Thank you to the government team. Well, that's all for our debate today. We would like to thank the honorable educators and debaters for your presence today. The result for the debate competition will be announced shortly, so please sit tight. The winning team for this debate is the opposition team, Padang TERAP District. And the best debater is Nur Ain Najibah binti Azahar from PPD Padang. Okay, well done everyone. You did a good job. It's a good debate. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.